If you're a man over 30 and are new to resistance training, this video is for you. I'm going to give you everything you need to start building muscle naturally. When you're focusing on building muscle, you need to focus on 3 key areas. That's progressive overload, consistency, and adequate nutrition. The first thing I'm going to cover is progressive overload, as this is something you've probably heard more often than not. Progressive overload is just about basically progressively challenging the muscles, because if you don't challenge them progressively, then you're not going to be able to create the adaptations, and the adaptations is actually building muscle. So how do you do that? Most of the time you want to be training within the 6 to 20 rep range, taking your sets 2 to 3 reps away from muscular failure. That's the point where you can't do any more reps. Most weeks you'll focus on either adding weight, adding a rep or 2, or a combination of both. When it comes to the actual work volume you do in the gym, most researchers found that between 12 and 24 hard sets per major muscle group per week maximizes muscle growth. I'm using the word maximizes because that's not always what you want to be looking at, because the type of volume you need depends on a variety of things, and it's better to start low. As a beginner, for the first 4 to 6 weeks, you can get most of your results by just doing 4 hard sets per muscle group per week. Yes, as little as 4. Obviously, you can't stay at that level. You have to build that up over time. But like I said, the first 4 to 6 weeks, it's a great introduction. It's better to do low and to build it up than to start crazy high, get overwhelmed and actually stop training. You have to be consistent. I know this sounds cliche, but when building muscle, it's particularly important because you have to focus on progressive overload, and it requires consistent effort in the gym to achieve that. If you're not doing that, you're not building muscle. You're not giving your body the chance to create those adaptations. So find a workout split that suits you. How many times a week can you train? 2, 3, 4? It's completely up to you. But I do suggest that most of you, especially those just starting out, starting at 2 sessions per week. That's 2 full body sessions per week. You can build that up to 3 full body sessions per week, but I suggest staying at 2 sessions per week, fit it in, then figure out where you can go from there and when you can add that 3rd session in. You're not in a hurry. You have to remember that. You just need to find out when does it suit you to add that in. When you add that 3rd session, you can still do a full body session. I find that's a sweet spot for most people to maintain pretty much forever until you can actually physically add another training session in. You can get most of your results doing 3 full body sessions a week, as long as they're well structured and as long as your nutrition is adequate, which we're going to get into shortly. When we think of adequate nutrition, the first thing we think of is protein. Your protein needs to be enough to support muscle growth and recovery. So anywhere between 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight if you've got a lot of fat to lose. If you don't have that much fat to lose, you can do anywhere from 0.7 to about 0.8, I would say, or even 1 gram per pound of your current body weight. But remember, that's a range, so anywhere between that's completely fine. We can't talk about nutrition without talking about calories. You need to make sure you're eating enough. Most people go crazy into a diet like I did myself at one point and actually eat too little. They won't support the recovery process, they won't support muscle growth, and they'll end up, well, you might end up skinny fat. And you don't want to be there, trust me. So what you want to be doing is eating in an adequate deficit. If you've got fat to lose, that's around 12 times your body weight in pounds. That will give you the calories you need to lose fat. And if you don't have much fat to lose and you want to be in a slight surplus, you should actually be in a slight surplus, and you want to do 16 times your current body weight in pounds. That will give you rough guidelines. Even if you're not tracking, that'll give you something to estimate towards, to work towards, as in a reference range. You want to be eating that roughly that many calories. If you eat slightly under, it's not going to kill you. Slightly over, again, it's not going to kill you. Pay attention to your weight, pay attention to the way you look and how that changes over time. I know I may sound like a child's nutrition textbook, but you want to make sure you're getting in enough fruits and vegetables. I'd say 1 to 2 servings of non-starchy vegetables with each meal, and 1 to 2 servings, I'd say 2 servings of fruit per day, but you can build up to that. That's going to help you get the micronutrients you need to feel good and to operate at your optimal health. Make sure your plan is built around compound lifts. That's like squats, bench press, deadlifts. Those movement patterns, 70 to 80% of your routine should be based around those. Not specifically those lifts, because if you have some aches and niggles doing those lifts, even if you're using correct form, you might want to change them, like changing the bench press for like a dumbbell bench press, changing a squat for a type of split squat. You're still doing the same movement pattern, but you're just using a different piece of equipment. So you're nailing progressive overload, you're getting some consistency, and you're also getting adequate nutrition. You need to make sure you're getting adequate rest. Getting enough rest is crucial for recovery. It's crucial for the way you feel, the way you grow, the way you lose fat. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're not going to be losing the maximum amount of fat, you're not going to be building the maximum amount of muscle, and your overall health is going to be impaired as well. So you want to aim for 7 to 9 hours sleep per night, and you want to make sure that you're not training every day, you're giving enough rest in between sessions. Like I said, if you're sticking to 2 days or 3 days a week, that's completely fine, but make sure you're sleeping enough in between to recover and get the most out of your routine. Also, you might not have known this, but if you're not getting enough sleep, you're actually significantly increasing your chance of injury. Getting like 5 hours sleep a night, I think from what I read, increases your chance of injury by up to 50%. My final bit of advice to you is keep it simple and be patient. Well, that's 2 things, but keeping it simple means just following the plan and not trying to do some crazy little swipe workout, not changing a workout too often, sticking with your workout for at least 12 weeks before you make substantial changes. You just pay attention to the way your body's changing, and if your progress plateaus, then you want to make probably more drastic changes. And being patient means setting realistic goals from the outset. Like for example, you can build 1 to 3 pounds of muscle per month when you're just starting out. That might not seem like a lot, but look at over the course of a year, that's 12 to 36 pounds. That's pounds of muscle. That's going to make a significant difference to the way you look. So bear that in mind, and if you follow all what I'm saying in this, stick with it for long enough, honestly, 6 to 12 months time, you're going to be unrecognizable in the best possible way. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, give it a massive thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, hit that bell notification to be alerted as soon as I post a video in the future. If you haven't already, head over to my free Facebook group. It's just for men like yourself to build more muscle and to lose more fat. Until the next video, keep pushing your limits.